everyone, it's Jack and Adam from Cultaholic.com, and it's Monday morning, but the news never bloody stops.
Never ends. It's always here. There's news. We're going to cover it. It's our jobs, isn't it?
There's content to be talked about. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the headlines. First of all, an on-screen NXT figure has reportedly been telling people that he doesn't want to work for WWE much longer. Next up, we take a look at the sad passing of lucha libre star Silver King. And finally, 2 matches have been announced for the upcoming NXT TakeOver 25 show in Connecticut. So first of all, let's take a look at this news surrounding Percy Watson in NXT, because apparently he's been telling people that he doesn't really want to work for the company much longer. He wants to pursue other interests.
I mean, he's just been replaced on commentary by Beth Phoenix.
Yes.
And you kind of have to wonder, what else would he be doing? Like,
yeah.
He's not going to be wrestling anymore. They don't want him in that role. He could maybe go to a backstage interviewer thing, but it's certainly a step down. I completely understand his frustrations. What do you think at first, or Beth Phoenix replacing him?
I think Beth Phoenix is a good commentator.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, I didn't know how good a commentator Percy Watson was, because whoever's in that third person role, they don't get much at all, do they, really? So,
no, Renee Young just says choice phrases.
Wow.
That's about it. It's a bit different in NXT, I guess. They do seem to be given a little bit more.
Yes.
But it's the problem with three-man booths that we've seen for many, many years now, is that whoever is in that third position always seems like a weaker commentator because of it, just because of that role. And you know what, I'm not a massive fan of Percy Watson and his commentary, nor am I actually a massive fan of Beth Phoenix and her commentary, but that could be because they're in that third person role, and because they're not actually given really much of a chance to shine, because they don't have a set role. It's just a little bit.
A filler, isn't it? Yeah, I guess so. This news came, well, sort of about in a weird way. So first of all, it was tweeted about by Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens, but then someone pushed him to give a source, and he said, "Oh, I don't report on men's wrestling." So I don't know, but NXT's got women's wrestling as well.
Yeah, right.
But then
and Beth Phoenix has just replaced. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He could have, I think, reported on it without compromising his rules, but. Fightful have followed up and apparently learned that Watson had been telling people that he doesn't plan to work for WWE much longer, but a release from the company has not yet been confirmed. So we should stress, it's not actually official yet, he's not out the door or anything. It's just that Fightful sources suggest that backstage he has been quite open about wanting to leave. Wanting to pursue acting, I think, is what he wants to do.
Yeah, fair play to him. Because you know what, I don't see much of a role for him outside of WWE. I think it'd be very difficult for him to do like a Justin Roberts and go to All Elite or something like that. He doesn't have the stature of Jim Ross or Justin Roberts. I don't think he could just go across there, however good he is.
He's kind of he's always been a sort of stalwart of the developmental system, really, because he was in NXT when it was a reality show, and he hasn't really, I mean, apart from 205 Live and main event and stuff, he hasn't really gone onto the main roster in any sort of capacity. I guess you could count pay-per-view commentary appearances, but...
Yeah, true. Good luck to him.
Yeah,
genuinely. I always like it. Hopefully, WWE actually grant his release.
Yes.
I think that's going to be the next interesting thing. If they refuse to release Percy Watson, who they obviously have no plans for, then it just highlights once again, like with the Luke Harper stuff. Yeah. They want to keep everybody there, even if they've got no creative plans for them and won't use them in the future, even if they don't like them. In the case of Luke Harper.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and we will report on it if it gets controversial.
Who knows? It's wrestling.
Controversial. Next up, we do have to sadly report on a very tragic event that you may have heard of by now over this past weekend. It happened in UK wrestling, but it featured a Mexican lucha libre star by the name of Silver King, who you may have heard of. He's enjoyed a very long career, and tragically he did pass away due to an incident at an event for Lucha Libre World in London. It's just one of those things where you kind of realise that a lot of the stuff we concern ourselves with as wrestling fans sort of pales in significance when something as serious as this happens, and it makes you realise that, these are all people we're talking about all the time. Yeah,
I don't really know what to say about this. I'd been avoiding watching the video because I don't really like watching stuff like that, and then we were going to report on it, so I had a quick look at the video. It didn't look like there was a big spot that led to his untimely passing. But the referee, Silver King was being pinned, the referee went for a 3 count, and it wasn't the finish. It wasn't the planned finish. So 1, 2, and then held his hand up despite the fact that he hadn't kicked out because he was in such peril, I guess.
There's a lot of discomfort and a lot of confusion as well, it seems like.
Yeah, it was when his opponent, Hoovy, was celebrating in the ring, the referee didn't immediately tend to him. I'm not sure the referee realised the severity of what was happening, and it took a few minutes before people were able to get down there, which is a terrible shame. And I used to watch Silver King. I remember him from WCW. I went back and watched a match with him and Eddie Guerrero, and he was he was just really good, really fluid action, as you'd expect from Eddie Guerrero, but also Silver King certainly did his half of the work there. Yes. He was great.
He had a long and storied career. He made his debut in 1985 and wrestled for all manner of promotions, including AAA, as Adam mentioned, part of WCW's Cruiserweight division. He went over to New Japan as Black Tiger 3, and was even in Nacho Libre, the Jet Black comedy movie, as the villain Ramses. So he had a career both inside and outside of the wrestling ring. He's also part of an illustrious family, the son of Dr. Wagner, the son of Dr. Wagner, and the brother of Dr. Wagner Jr., who is still obviously a very prominent member of the Lucha Libre scene. So, needless to say, all of us at Cultaholic wish the friends and family of Silver King our deepest condolences. And yeah, it's just one of those really sad incidents, isn't it?
It's awful.
Next up, on to happier news now, because there's an NXT TakeOver right around the corner. It's the curiously marketed NXT TakeOver 25, which is a weird one because it's not, you know, traditionally before a big Sunday main roster pay-per-view. It's been, I imagine maybe it's because Money in the Bank was bumped to earlier in the year.
Well, it was originally announced that there would be a pay-per-view the night before Money in the Bank. WWE are very keen to brand Money in the Bank as the big fifth pay-per-view. Yes. There's a big four and then there's Money in the Bank. They want that all to be part of it. But then they scrapped that NXT TakeOver before, and now it is happening in Connecticut. I like the name NXT TakeOver 25 as opposed to NXT TakeOver Connecticut. It doesn't have quite the same.
Triple H just beating up everyone. So there's two matches that have been announced for the show. They're both potentially very, very good matches, and this comes via a tweet from Triple H hyping the show. There was a short sort of promo package style video. Nothing too specific was revealed apart from the two matches in question, which are the NXT Championship match, a rematch between Johnny Gargano, Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. The story there is that Adam Cole won the first fall in their previous match and has since been claiming that because he won the first fall, he's the rightful champion because
great
heels are dicks. So Gargano's gone, all right, I'll give you another shot and we'll see what you can do.
Can it top it? It's one of my favourite NXT matches ever. I've watched it back again recently, and it was paced so cleverly because the rest of the card, the first four matches, were so intense, they were really fast paced. And actually, the first fall, maybe the second fall too, acted as a real breather for the crowd, and then everything picked up in that third fall, and it was absolutely terrific.
It was kind of its own cool-down match. Strangely. I don't know, I think maybe it could, because it'll be a different sort of match, won't it? You'd imagine it'd be more succinct and more streamlined, unless the stipulations added, or maybe it'll just go really long anyway. But I imagine it'll be more fast-paced, and people might like it immediately more, but maybe the first one will have more of a legacy. I'm speculating way too much for a match that hasn't actually happened yet.
No, I'm excited by it. I'm really excited by it.
And the other one is the NXT Women's Championship match between Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. Obviously, Baszler attacked Kairi Sane one more time before she moved up to the main roster. Io Shirai was her sort of tag partner sometimes, but definitely her associate, her friend in NXT, and is out for revenge. And also, I don't remember this specifically because there's been so much going on, but apparently Shirai has a pinfall victory in a tag match over Shayna Baszler as well. So there's
don't remember that either. Interesting.
That little bit of intrigue as well.
I don't see Baszler dropping the title.
No, me neither.
Especially with Io Shirai, unless they kept her down there because they've got big plans for her.
Maybe.
And now they've lost Ronda from the main roster. Maybe they want that legitimate MMA background on one of the main shows. Who knows?
She's one of the most prominent women's wrestlers in the world, one of the most highly respected ones as well. So maybe she could be NXT Women's Champion. We saw it with Asuka, who again was in a similar position to Io Shirai coming in, a big renowned foreign star. I think maybe they will. I don't know. I'm tending to side with you right now. I think Shayna will keep it, but I just can't see who she'd drop it to in the future. Maybe Bianca.
That's the problem.
Belair.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, but she's already been in matches with Bianca Belair. I don't know, maybe this is it.
Maybe.
It'll be interesting to see.
But no, I don't think it is. Wait, because I don't think Shayna will go up. Yeah, you'd imagine that Shayna will go up soon after losing the title.
True.
I don't think she'll.
Okay.
We'll see, but it looks like it's shaping up already to be a very exciting card. Next up, WWE are going to air that mythical Bret Hart versus Tom McGee dark match, the whole lost tapes kind of match that everyone's been talking about in the past few months. They're going to air that on the network. So if you don't understand the story of the match, basically, back in '86, there was a TV taping in Rochester, New York, and Vince McMahon put Bret Hart against this Canadian powerlifter guy called Tom McGee, as a sort of, let's see what he's got, let's see how he can handle himself in the ring, almost like an unofficial tryout kind of match. And apparently, Bret Hart made him look really, really good.
Who'd have thunk it, eh?
Well, yeah, to the extent where Vince apparently thought that he'd found the next Hulk Hogan. Yeah. He was like, oh, this guy's amazing.
You look at Tom McGee back then, and he reminds me a lot of Neville. Pac in a weird, because he's got the absolute size, but I've watched some of his Japanese stuff, and like he can flip and stuff. The stuff that he was doing was absolutely amazing. I completely understand why Vince saw so much in him, but then they put him with other wrestlers who weren't Bret Hart. And he basically wasn't up to scratch. And Vince quickly soured on him, and it's been a real matter of embarrassment for Vince for a long time. That's the reason I believe that they didn't want this match released, is because Vince had such high hopes for him, and then he was proven wrong when Tom McGee did the house show circuit with various other wrestlers who didn't have the ability of Bret Hart.
But it's been like 30 years, Vince. Just let it go.
You think so, yeah.
Well, if there was ever something that would make Vince let it go and air the match, you may have heard also that at StarCast, which is coming up in the next couple of weeks, they're going to air that match, or are they going to air it?
They're going to air. They're going to dissect it. Tom McGee and Bret Hart will be on stage. I assume because of legal. The ramifications of actually showing the match, they won't show it to the audience, but they will. I think they were going to be watching it because Conrad has managed to acquire a copy of this, so they were going to be watching it, like our reaction videos.
Crazy.
But with Tom McGee and Bret Hart.
Bret and Tom McGee. Oh, what a spot! You're going to have to do the punishment. I think that it could be, and I don't want to be, casting accusations at Vince, but I think it could be a little bit of a petty decision to air this match.
You think?
Given the timing, I think
it does feel like that, perhaps. You know what? If I was going to Vegas, I'm not.
All right.
Have fun. I would want to see it anyway, because I even more than seeing the match, I'd like to hear Bret and Tom talk about it, and I think those two would essentially provide colour commentary for it, so it feels like you're watching it anyway. It's more interesting hearing them talk about it. I don't think anyone who's bought tickets to the event in Vegas is going to be especially annoyed that they can watch the match first. In fact, maybe that makes it better.
Yeah, maybe it's like a companion piece.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's strange.
In fact, they can all be streaming it on the network on their phones while they're listening to Bret and Tom talk.
3, 2, 1, go. You're locking up now. Someone's like feeding them what they're doing. Bret, you're great. Tom, you look good. Right, anyway. So yes, that's an interesting one. Keep an eye out for that on the network. I'm sure it's one of those like fascinating lost wrestling matches that's finally, it's the lost wrestling match that's
airs
finally
tonight.
It airs tonight?
It airs tonight, immediately following Raw, which actually makes me want to stay up, not to watch Raw, but to watch this match. Just in case Vince has a change of heart and pulls it off the network before I can see it on repeat.
Such hipsters we are.
Yeah.
And finally, it's a bit gossipy and stuff, but it did break the internet. So we do have to mention it. Becky Lynch has just casually confirmed her relationship with Seth Rollins on Twitter in the most badass way.
Is it the bad? Yeah,
I thought it was really
kind of,
I thought it was badass. Because everyone's been speculating for like weeks now, and she's just gone, as if everyone already knew, she's been like, oh yeah, so basically what happened was, they're all on tour in the UK, they've probably had a few bevs, think it would be a funny idea to do it. So Becky was exchanging words on Twitter with Edge, and they were arguing, and she made a joke which could be taken as mocking his neck injury, which of course caused him to retire from the ring. I'm sure she cleared that with Edge before doing it. Beth Phoenix got involved. Her and Beth Phoenix were arguing first, then Edge got involved, and then Beth went, "Oh, we're bringing our men into this now, are we? You're going to mention my husband's name. We're bringing our men into this." And Becky went, "I don't know. I'll ask him." At Seth Rollins, are we?
There you go. I mean, they've been pictured backstage together. Canoodling, with their arms around each other like that, just enjoying some wrestling or a rock band.
I didn't know what you were doing. I thought you were going to slap me on the back.
No.
You give really hard back slaps, you.
All right, well, congratulations to them. What a cute couple. Two of the hottest talents in the WWE, both in terms of fan investment and looks.
Oh dear.
Seth is a stunning man. Becky, of course, a beautiful woman.
Yeah, and if they have a kid, which is crazy to say because they've just been going out for a few weeks. But if they have a kid, imagine how good it would be at wrestling. Becky
he would
suplexes, Seth's high flying. Oh.
You've got it all figured out. Is there a stan name for these two yet? Like a Seki?
Why would you? Why?
Beth.
Beth.
There you go. Beth. Well, congratulations
named after
to
Beth Phoenix for inspiring the story going public. I hate reporting on stuff like this.
Yeah, I looked on Reddit and lots of people are discussing it. People do seem to care. If you think it's too tabloidy, then well, you're still watching, so congratulations to Beth.
Thanks very much, everyone. Congratulations to Beth. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.